Hey guys, this is Plozible here, and I'm probably going to be asked, why am I doing this challenge? Well, I'll put it like this. People always talk about how Jigglypuff is so powerful in Smash, but sometimes that we need to buff the Puff because it's just not powerful enough. But then I was just thinking, why would we buff the Puff if Igglybuff is powerful enough to take on entire leagues by itself? And then I saw this video that was talking about how Sunkern can beat the entire Pokemon game, and I was a bit shocked by it, but it really made me think, can other Pokemon such as like Jigglypuff be able to do so? Or in this case, Igglybuff? There are like certain gimmicks as well for like a Pokemon might have, like Shedinja has 1 HP, and if you come back for facing Gary in Pokemon FireRed, well, Sandstream Tyranitar says hello on turn 1, so rest in peace that challenge. Nah, I'm just kidding though. I did this with Igglybuff, and I'll just say it ahead of time. I really do plan of only going up to like facing Gary, slash Blue, slash my rival. You get the gist of it. Basically, I was only gonna fight him on the first time around. Maybe go for the Sevi Islands, who knows. And just to show why this run is just kind of bad, at least in my favor. Igglybuff's starting moveset really isn't too great. It gets one offensive move in Pound. It gets Sweet Kiss later on as well at level 14. But most of its starting moves are really bad, doesn't have much of a good move pool, and it does have decent TM usage, but it does not do much justice with that because its stats are really not good at all. It's got base 90 HP, it's got 30 attack and 40 special attack. Everything else is like really garbage about it, so it's not the most absolute worst thing in the world, but it is pretty bad. So I guess the question is, can an Igglybuff beat Pokemon FireRed on its own? And I will clarify some rules of this challenge. 1, I can only use Igglybuff in battle, nobody else. So whenever you see anyone else in my party, it's just Pokemon that I've caught throughout my adventure, that can learn HMs and become my HM slaves. My second rule will be that I can only use held items, so I can't come in the middle of a fight, and if my Igglybuff is low on health, I can't heal it with like a potion. I can't spam a bunch of X defense to be able to boost its like defense so it won't take any damage. And number 3 is I can't really skip any fights. So if there's like a really well-known glitch to like get past the fight, but I really don't want to do that because it kind of cheats the game, and if I lose at a specific point, like if I lose at Giovanni or if I lose at Blaine or something like that, that means I just concede the loss, and that means Igglybuff can't do the challenge. Well, with all that being established, so let's just hop into the video, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Hey guys, and welcome to my Pokemon FireRed challenge with an Igglybuff, and we're gonna start the game just like normal, but obviously I'll just explain what happened was we randomized in an Igglybuff or a Bulbasaur, and if you're questioning the Ledian, I don't know why it's a Ledian. I guess it got randomized with me trying to change it to like an Igglybuff, but whatever. By the way, I am doing this mostly unscripted, so you'll see it, but anyways, we're gonna go with the girl, and I'm gonna make my name Ploz because while my channel name is Plozible, it's actually based on my old name, which was Ploz, Ploz Alcatraz. But I chose the female character because I really do like Leaf as a protagonist. But yeah, this is mostly just going to be unscripted, so I'm sorry if you guys like scripted videos from people. I'll do more scripted videos in the future, but I just like doing unscripted at least for these type of things. And for my rival, actually I'm going to name him after a friend of mine named Dad Attack, so... Also, you can't really fit attack, so I have to put like the little abbreviation for attack, like how it's treated in-game for Pokemon. You'll see that I'm very much sorry to Dad Attack, but it was the only way I could fit his name in. Hopefully he'll enjoy it regardless. So with that, we are finally on our way to begin our brand new adventure in the Pokemon world. And right here we have Professor Oak already stopping us from trying to go into the wild grass because... obviously, we can't go into the wild grass without any Pokemon. And here's where our partner Igglybuff comes into play. because everyone loves Igglybuff. But anyways, now we have to choose our starters, and as I mentioned earlier, we randomized it in for Bulbasaur, so it's gonna appear as Igglybuff for some reason regardless. Like, it's just like, I guess it's not substituted in with like Bulbasaur being a permanent thing. But our rival is going to be treated as if we still have a Bulbasaur, so he's going to go with the Charmander, you'll see that. Our options are Igglybuff, the normal Pokemon, Charmander, obviously, which is going to be our rival's Pokemon, and then this poor little Squirtle is just going to be left to rot in the lab alone. Rest in peace, Squirtle. So yeah, we're going to take the Igglybuff, obviously, and this is definitely going to be a very fun challenge, I can already tell you that. So, yes, very much energetic. I'm not really sure, it's either this or another Pokemon. It's like, nah, I'm thinking of Spoink. I thought I was sure that this thing keeps bouncing, though, or something like that, or it's like a balloon. And I'm going to name this after Nerf Me, please, because the entire joke of this challenge is that people basically talk about how we need to, like, buff Jigglypuff, like, buff the Puff and Smash. So I'm like, do we really need to buff Jigglypuff if Igglybuff, its like pre-evolved form, is this OP? And we're gonna show the world why Igglybuff is that OP, at least with this challenge. So, right now we're gonna start off pretty well, but you'll see that a lot of the confidence is gonna go down the drain. So we got Naughty Nature, and we actually got Female, and you'll see that we have this ability called Cute Charm. So, Cute Charm basically allows us to like, if any Pokemon comes into physical contact with us, what's going to happen is that they're going to immediately have that status inflicted, like, attract. So that's gonna come in handy, and yep, that attack's gonna stop us to do a fight with us, one-on-one. And here comes our rival Dat Attack, and oh boy. I really wish I could say that this opening section wasn't, like, that bad, but one of the problems here definitely is that we're gonna have to save state a lot, and I think I mentioned this earlier, but save states, I did use them. Only for the beginning of the game, obviously. I got a recommendation later on, and I really am kind of stupid for not taking this, right? But what I was going to do was, I was going to take a Metapod, right? I should just gone to a Viridian Forest, trained up a little bit, or at least, like, wasted all my PP there, then trained up elsewhere, but what I did was I wasted all of my PP by just trying to run away from battles and stuff like that. You'll see later on that's what I'm probably just gonna do, but like, because this is post-commentary, obviously. This isn't like in the moment, you'll see, because this is like really sped up and stuff. And I know a lot of people just like to show the killing of the Pokemon and stuff like that. I wanted to show the full battles just to show, hey, this is not very easy, and I would advise not doing this unless you have very good patience. So, back to the video though, the strat here basically was to put Charmander asleep, right? And then we were gonna lower all of its attack with Charm, and Charm does -2 each turn, and Defense Curl did +1 for defense each time we used it, so we ended up with Charmander having a 1/6 of its total attack stat, and then Jigglypuff had like ×3, I think it's ×3 or ×4. Yeah, it's like ×4, it's like normal defense stat. So we got pretty high, it was pretty neat, man. And you obviously see we're safe stating a lot here. It was like practically the only good way I can think of that we were really going to be able to get past this part. And what I was doing for the save states here, I know that I could lose, right? I could have done a forced loss, but at the same time, I really wanted the experience for this battle at least, because I knew going into this challenge, at least, I wasn't going to get a good move until later on. I was, like, a bit worried with that, so I was like, okay, I need to basically struggle my way to, like, be able to get good moves, so, you'll see it when I heal up here and all that, right? I'm gonna be using a potion. You can get that immediately, like, once you pop into your room, by the way, you can get a potion from your PC. This definitely helped out here. I probably could have beaten the Charmander even without it, though it would have been much more difficult without using that potion. And as you can see, we have a very bunch of bad luck here. When we finally got to using Struggle, we got the potion. And, yeah, we got to win over our rival. Rest in peace, Dad Attack, and he's still going to be cocky regardless, and he's going to flex that. Oh, well, we're still beginner and all that. And we're going to get some potions, obviously, just for the fact that training is going to be very difficult, so we need to heal ourselves up, and we're just going to use Struggle as the only way to get experience until we can get an offensive move. We do get Pound later, but we're just going for 6 potions as of right now. Now we're just going for 4. And, yeah, we'll come back later. And now we finally go to level 9. You'll see what happens is, right, we finally get our first defensive move, which is Pound. So finally something else we can use to hit something. And now we're obviously going to go to this old man. For some reason we're taking advice from a dude who was literally drunk, passed out on a road for capturing Pokemon, because that definitely makes sense. Yeah, it does. Mind you, he doesn't even have a Pokemon, so he's like randomly catching a Weedle. I guess it's recording, and we kindly came back to the Pokemon Center again. We're gonna buy more potions because we're gonna need them to heal up our Pokemon. And I did something really stupid here. I went to the Pokemon Center and I healed up. So I think you guessed what happens now. We cannot struggle anymore because not only do we have our HP back, obviously, right? But we have full PP, so that's just pretty great. So we came back, obviously reset, and we're going to take on Dad Attack again. And the rival fight, obviously, is going to be a little harder because he now is a Pidgey. But we came prepared. Nah, not necessarily, and we got critted, so I used a safe state here again, and it was pretty nice, actually, that it allowed itself to, like, get cute charmed. Definitely made the Pidgey easier to take out this time around, so Pidgey is going to go down after pretty much just, it's just going to get infatuated this entire time. I safe stated, obviously, right, just in case it was not going to go well. But nah, Pidgey actually just kept having problems with cute charm, and it was able to go down to a struggle, and obviously next is his Charmander. It's a similar case here. I basically needed this thing to hit me with a scratch or something like that, right? I think it happens the next save, or yeah, I reset right here, and I was pretty much just trying to go for a fishing for infatuation, which we got right here. And from here I needed basically for this Charmander to not hit us and get stuck within the infatuation. If I did let it hit me, you'll see what happens next. I think it's on this save, yes. It hits me with a scratch and it takes me down to 1 HP, and then I hit it with struggle and then I'll die otherwise. So, while I do have the potions, again, I'm trying to be conservative because I don't really want to use Pound per se. It's not necessarily a strong move, not until I can get Sweet Kiss to also combo with it. So, just for right now, I was just like safe stating and like resetting each time, and I did get the ideal condition eventually to where it's not this time, but I think it's like right after. No, never mind, it's this time. And we struggle for the win over our rival, and yeah, we beat Dad Attack again. And things are only going to get better from here, I guess. Who knows? And now we finally learned Sweet Kiss. That makes things so much easier. You'll see as to why. Because we can finally confuse stuff. And we got it from beating this random bug guy within the Viridian Forest. And now we are facing Brock. And you'll learn that we definitely trained up to become level 24 because I did not want this fight to go bad. And we laid off with a Sweet Kiss, obviously. I wanted to do this just to confuse it. And I'm not going to narrate every battle per se because it's pretty clearly on the screen. But like, the strategy basically was I was going to pound it to death. And I learned at least around this point that pound with stab, I guess, was going to be just as effective as struggle. So I kind of just gave up on the struggle strat. Especially when I had Sweet Kiss to help me out. So I was like, nah, struggle's not needed anymore. And I tried to avoid Charm with Sweet Kiss because if you don't know, Confusion basically operates based off your damage, like with your attack. So like, if you have a very low attack, the Confusion's not going to do a whole lot, obviously. And Onyx here, it's a bit bulky, but like we managed to get the Sweet Kiss off at least. And from here, it's basically just I have to pound this thing to death, and it's gonna eventually go down. That's kind of how it was just gonna go. I didn't really have any, like, fears of this gym battle, but I was a little concerned because obviously we're level 24 and we're not doing a whole lot of damage to the first gym leader. But then again, it is a rock type, so it does make sense. And you'll realize that we have problems with rock types even if we're like double their level even later on. Which kind of sucks, but it's not a big problem. So obviously we're just trying to pound, and they got immobilized. I think it's one more pound basically allows us to get this win. No, it's okay. It's one more pound after this, and with that we have beaten Brock's Onyx, and we have gotten the Boulder Badge. So that is our first win with Igglybuff. Which, yeah, let's continue on to the next part, I guess, which is with the fossils. And yes, now I only show this part because I've seen people ask other like YouTubers who do this challenge, right, what fossils that they choose, and obviously I'll just show the battle that I did beforehand with this guy. He was pretty easy. It's not like he was a hard battle or anything like that, but I just wanted to show just Igglybuff was pretty much cleaning house at this point against most people in this early game. And we sweep him with just pounding them all to death, and we chose the Helix fossil after beating Super Nerd Miguel because, you know, we have to choose Lore Helix. We cannot be the false prophet of the Dome fossil. And this guy kind of just decides to be a jerk and just take the other one. We never see this guy again, so take your false prophet. We're going to take Lore Helix, and now, yeah, we have a little random encounter with a Geodude, but it's alright. After this next encounter, we're going to take this item, and we're going to be right out of the cave, so yes, okay, we're going to take this item now, and right after this, we are finally out of Mount... Never mind, we got the Paris. We got to fight a Paris. Nah, we're just going to run away from it, man. And, okay, now we are finally out of Mount Moon. After all of that, we are finally out of Mount Moon. And I learned along the way, apparently Igglybuff could learn Mega Kick. It was rather surprising. I never knew it could learn that. I didn't even know that when I was checking Bulbapedia, but it definitely did help for later. Very much so. Made the challenge quite easier in comparison, so. Now, Dat Attack challenges us again on the Nugget Bridge after he cleared all of it, and Pidgeotto is going to come on out. I'm just going to go for a Sweet Kiss to just confuse it, and yay, we get the confusion, obviously. And it uses Sand Attack, but even with that Sand Attack, we just like, nope, we're gonna Mega Kick it, and we take down the Pidgeotto. And I guess, when you see that right, we're about like, almost double the level of it, I guess. But we did decent damage with it. Mega Kick did pretty good damage. Pound, taking down the Rattata, and now that Charmander's gonna come out, somehow not a Charmeleon even at that level. Ember's gonna do nothing, and we just basically go for Sweet Kiss, and it's the same story where we're just gonna go for Mega Kick like right afterwards. It's itself in confusion. We get a miss, but it's itself again. We can go for another Mega Kick that's gonna one-shot it. And his last Pokemon is an Abra that can't even do anything, so we're just gonna pound, and that's the end of that. So yeah, Dat Attack went down pretty easily this time. And we got a free win over him, I guess. And now we're gonna go take on the Rocket Grunt after the Nugget Bridge, yes. So sadly we cannot join Team Rocket, we have to face this guy, and he even tells us how great our potential is, but nah. We're gonna face this Ekans. The team's pretty easy, but, you know, this guy's like the leader of the Nugget Bridge, I guess, so like, had to show the battle. It's a pretty important battle within the series, obviously. And then we take down Zubat with just pounding. Sadly, we can't join Team Rocket, so I guess that we could have been really great with Team Rocket had we gotten to join, but nah, we're just too good for Team Rocket. And now we get to face the man himself, Youngster Joey. So Youngster Joey sending out that Rattata, obviously, that very top percentage Rattata to face our Igglybuff, but he's holding back a lot here, obviously. He allows himself to get one-shotted, he has to restrict himself. He does the same thing with his little Spearow right here. Because you'll see afterwards as to why. He just, like, held back really much in this fight, man. Like, even though we defeated him, he's like, nah, man, you're just decent at best. We're just decent, man. And right here you'll see basically we finally get to the level to where Igglybuff can evolve into a Jigglypuff. And what's this? An evolution? But no, we can't allow it to become the buffest puff yet. We obviously have to show the world that Igglybuff's too powerful. And now we are taking on Misty, the water-type gym leader. She's gonna start off with the Staryu, and it's gonna basically be the same story that we're gonna just basically sweep through this gym. We get a Sweet Kiss off, and Staryu hits itself. Pound absolutely decimates it. Stormy comes on out, delivers a Water Pulse, but nah, we just decided to give a Mega Kick, and that absolutely destroys it, getting us the Cascade Badge. Pretty easy fight, I guess. And the next is our rival fight against Dad Attack on the SSN. So he's obviously gonna bluff and brag with us, and he's gonna send out that Pidgeotto. But once again, we're just gonna Sweet Kiss right off the bat, and Pidgeotto is gonna hit itself. We're gonna go for the Pound, and Pidgeotto basically kills itself right here. So it's pretty much a free win right there. And then Raticate comes on out. We're gonna go for another Pound, and it doesn't exactly kill, but it does a decent amount of damage. And then, yeah, rip the Raticate. And a Kadabra comes on out now, just to see how Pound does. And Psychic types have really bad defense, so goes down pretty easily. And Mega Kick is enough to one-shot right here, so yeah, we take down Dad Attack pretty easily. Even though he's trying to brag, like, we literally take him down pretty easily. And now we have to face the Lightning American Lieutenant Surge. I grinded off on a bunch of Dugtrio and Diglett's K. It's a very good place to grind, actually. They're like higher level than even his Raichu, but we basically one-shot the Voltorb, obviously. His Pikachu's gonna come on out, and we still one-shot that with the Pound. And we're gonna give the Raichu the same treatment where Mega Kick comes on out, we one-shot that, and we sweep through Lieutenant Surge's entire team. So yeah, we got the Thunder Badge pretty easily. And now we have to hop immediately right to Erica's gym, and this is actually the first time in this run that I lost. And it was a bit surprising, because I learned at this point that status moves are a death sentence on my Igglybuff. You'll see right here that Stun Spore completely crippled my Igglybuff, and the Giga Drain does... Its damage is not too great, but the problem was that since I was paralyzed, it was faster than me. It was going to do a lot of damage to me, and I kept getting paralyzed. Even if it, like, also the Victory Bell didn't hit itself, so that did not hurt my case as well. I kept getting paralyzed, and it just, like, broke out of confusion. And since I have a large amount of health as well, they could take a good amount of my health back with its Giga Drain. Like, look, it got about a quarter of its health back right by doing that Giga Drain. And it's just gonna sweep through my HM slaves right here, obviously, because they can't do anything. I'm not really allowed to attack with them. Down goes the Pidgey, and then down goes the Meowth. I guess I had to mix it up a little bit. I didn't do any grinding after this when I came back to Erica, but I was a bit confused. I was like, okay, so the run's gonna pick up a little pace here. It's gonna be more difficult, right? Then we just come back to the same gym, right? And all I did was just put on a Cherry Berry just in case. Actually, I think I put on a Chesto Berry. But no, I went immediately for that Mega Kick against the Victory Bell. I was not going to take any chances anymore. And they just went down in one shot like literally everything else has so far with Mega Kick. And then Tangela's going to come out, take a Pound. And while I did get Poison Powdered, it wasn't the end of the world. Trust me, being poisoned by a Poison Powder is much better than being paralyzed by Stun Spore. And then Vileplume comes on out, and we just give it a nice old Mega Kick, and that was a nice win also against Erica. It's a pretty easy win. And yeah, we get the Rainbow Badge, and right after this, we have to face Giovanni, who, he has some rock types. He has an Onyx, and he has a Rhyhorn, so this is definitely going to be a Brock situation again. That Mega Kick does really good damage on the Onyx. And he's just going for Harden. At this point, I wanted to just pound away. I didn't want to waste Mega Kicks, because you'll see he has a Kangaskhan as well, which is pretty bulky, actually. So Onyx is going to take a sec. I think it's the next Pound that's going to take it down. We never see this Onyx again, mind you, so rest in peace, Onyx. And then Rhyhorn comes on out, and we just take that thing down pretty easily with the Mega Kick as well. Then we just go for another pound, and then I think this next pound basically be enough to do it in. Scary Face definitely didn't do anything there. They're like, do much. Then Kangaskhan comes in, tries to do a Mega Punch to swap hands with us, but we're like, nah, let's give us the Mega Kick treatment, and then Kangaskhan survives it, but just barely, and we pound it, and then we get a win. So yeah, Igglybuff managed to beat Boss Giovanni. And I did learn after this, right, we have to go to Lavender Tower. We have absolutely no moves other than normal type moves, so we can't even hit those Pokemon. The only TM that I realized that we can use to hit them otherwise was Shockwave. So I taught Igglybuff Shockwave to be able to hit like Ghastly and Haunter, Gengar. It was the only way at the time that I had a TM that would be able to hit them. Later on, I was planning on getting Shadow Ball. But I replaced Sing because it was the least useful. It had 20% less accuracy than what Sweet Kiss did, so I got rid of it for Shockwave. Then we go to the tower, and then we have to face Stat Attack again. And he leads off with a Pidgeotto, and again, this is one of those moments where I realized I cannot goof up in this run, because obviously we one-shot the Pidgeotto. We were pretty used to that. Gyarados comes on out. We take care of that pretty handily with a Shockwave, but that -1, you'll see that that definitely hurts us. I wanted to try to just, against the Execute, I wasn't trying to switch out, by the way. I just tried to go for Pound to see the damage. That didn't even do much, and then it went for Hypnosis, so I was like, okay. And then this thing had Reflect, and then I got Reflect on -1 on me, so I'm not going to do much. And then it Leech Seeded. Right, so that Leech Seed, it like literally takes about half of its health. Like, it restores it. And then I get confused, like, what is this luck? And then, we wake up, obviously. I go for a Mega Kick immediately. Luckily, I break through the confusion. I need this next Mega Kick if I even want to kill this Execute, and, at least luckily, we got through the confusion, we got the Mega Kick off, and we killed the Execute, so... Leech Seed's still up, so Kadabra is going to survive it. Reflect at least wore off, otherwise it would not have won this. Or will not win this. So, Mega Kick on the Kadabra, didn't want to take any chances. Probably could have killed it with Pound even, but... Charmeleon comes on out, and, unlike any time differently, we just one-shot, even with a -1 on our, Igglybuff, mind you, we still one-shot with a Mega Kick, so... We win with Igglybuff once again against Stat Attack, and he is out of here because... Yeah, he is. And this is the battle between the Marowak, obviously, and I just wanted to show this fight because one thing that was rather interesting here is that Mega Kick obviously missed, but the next turn, right, it takes a Mega Kick, so I was rather surprised because while Kangaskhan took it, I was like, okay, so other Pokemon can take it. It's like a bit of a problem, but so we're gonna have to grind up a little later, you'll see that. We're like level 68 right now, and obviously, not even our own evolutionary chain, like the top of us Wigglytuff, can stop our Mega Kick from Igglybuff. We're just way too powerful, even for like our fully evolved form. Igglybuff's just that powerful, man. And then we get to the fighting dojo, and you'll realize that we are now level 100, yes, because we trained up a lot. Pound one-shots, and then I go for another Pound on like the Hitmonchan. Doesn't one-shot, but I'm not surprised because it's Pound. It's base 40 power move, man. And then we take on the Fighting Dojo pretty easily right here. And now we have to face Stat Attack once again. He's pretty powerful this time around, but he's still probably just gonna go down to us. So we Shockwave, which one-shots the Pidgeot. Pretty nice, obviously. Down goes the Pidgeot, and then he sends out Gyarados. It sucks that we get a -1, but it's like, whatever. So Gyarados goes down to that Shockwave right there. And now we have the Charizard come in. I'm just gonna go for a Shockwave right here, and it doesn't immediately kill. So he goes for a nice Scary Face. I guess he's like setting himself up for his future Pokemon, but Flamethrower does basically half of our health, but it still doesn't kill us at least. And yeah. I guess the Execute goes down pretty easily, and I want to just say that came from level 40 Charizard, by the way. That took away almost half of our health with a Flamethrower. Alakazam wastes its turn with a Calm Mind, so we just, like, Mega Kick, and that's GG. We get rid of Stat Attack again, and he's still going to try to like brag that even though he's losing to an Igglybuff of all things, so goodbye Dad Attack. And now we have to face against Giovanni, and time to bring Giovanni a whole new world of hurt with Igglybuff. We lead off with the Sweet Kiss, obviously. Nidorino gets confused, hits itself, and basically does exactly what happened to Pidgeotto, and it just kind of kills itself with confusion, so that's nice. Nidoqueen comes on out, Mega Kick absolutely decimates that thing, so no need to worry about Nidoqueen, I guess. Kangaskhan comes on out, but we already know the tail. Kangaskhan's not going to do anything. It went for Rage, which is a really bad move. So, it does no damage to us while we just pound it away. It's not a Pokemon's the Rhyhorn, and we basically just use Sweet Kiss, it misses, but, you know, at this point, we're just gonna beat him regardless, even if we miss another Sweet Kiss. And then it's just like, finally we land the Sweet Kiss right, we just go for the confusion. I don't want to, like, Mega Kick everything, it gets kind of boring after a while. So we Mega Kicked, it missed, because why not? Then he just goes for a Rock Blast. This fight only get kind of dragged out because I kept missing stuff. And, I'm like going for another Mega Kick right here. You see that it does a lot of damage to the Rhyhorn. At this point I was like, nah, I'm not gonna hold back anymore. And then with a pound, we're able to kill it. So yeah, Rhyhorn goes down, and we've beaten Team Rocket's Giovanni. And right here we were facing against Sabrina to get the Marsh badge. So she leads off with a Kadabra, right? And watch this as we just pound, and it literally one-shots it. Yep. Mr. Mine comes on out to try to avenge it, but what do you know? It gets one-shotted again by a pound. Venomoth comes on out. Venomoth was like the only one on this team who survived a pound. It like wasted its turn with Supersonic and then kind of just gets pounded again, uses another Hyper Potion, and then yeah, Venomoth doesn't even get to do anything to our team, just gets absolutely destroyed. Alakazam comes on out, and then we just outspeed it with a Mega Kick. It goes for Calm Mind, though, doesn't do anything. We just go for another Mega Kick next turn, and yeah, we kill Sabrina's Alakazam. I guess we get a win, and we take our Marsh badge, like we rightfully deserve it. Pretty nice, I guess, because Igglybuff cleaned up the house, and now we have to go against Koga. Koga, the Poison-type gym leader, for the Soul Badge. He starts off with a Coughing. So, right here, we're just gonna go for the Pound. Pound does decent damage. I was trying to avoid Sludge trying to poison me, obviously, right? Because Poison, I don't want any status effects on this Igglybuff, and we go through with Pounding, right? Muck comes on out. We're just gonna go for the Mega Kick, obviously. One-shots the Muck. Nothing can really survive Mega Kick. Coughing comes on out. We're just gonna Shockwave again, and down goes the Coughing. Wheezing comes on out, but once again, Mega Kick proves to be just too powerful for everyone, so it goes down to Mega Kick. And Koga, we've earned the Soga badge. And now we have to face Blaine, the Fire-type gym leader, for the Volcano badge. And this fight, again, was relatively easy. Even with that -1, just like we go for Shockwave, and it just one-shots the Growlithe. I was very much surprised by that. I was thinking it would live one, but like, Ponyta comes on out, we Shockwave that, and it lives it, but it's not going to do anything. It's just going to go for a Fire Blast, which it does okay damage, but not too much damage to where it's going to matter. So, Pound does half HP even with like the -1 attack, so that's nice. Rapidash comes on out, but we just go immediately for the Mega Kick, and that completely decimates Rapidash once more. Arcanine comes out with -2 on our attack. We still go for a Mega Kick, right? But we got a critical hit on the attack, and we managed to one-shot the Arcanine, so yeah, we defeated Blaine and got the Volcano badge. I recorded this part just because, I guess it was the only part of the Sevi Islands that really mattered to me. We basically, just right here, we take down the entire Biker Goons, and I'm not really going to go over this too much, other than just, if you guys are watching the channel, I guess go join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, I'll have those things linked down below. And hopefully we can just continue making some good Pokemon content and all that. I just want to do a little plug-in, I guess, while also showing some footage and not try to halt the progress of this. And because you can obviously see what we're doing here. It's not really a significant fight, so I don't feel like I have to narrate what's going on, obviously, or my thought process. We're pretty much just going to take down these guys rather easily, so yeah guys, join the Discord. It's a never expiring link, so yeah, we get a win, so GG to those guys. And then we start right back up on Giovanni, and again, this is where I learned that this run was definitely not going to be a cakewalk anymore. I'll just say it like this. What happened was, I went in a bit confident that I was going to win pretty easily. I definitely underestimated this fight a lot. I'm not going to narrate it too heavily, but again, we just basically go for Mega Kick. We were doing okay, but what happened was, we got so many scary faces, and the Rhydon, or Rhyhorn, basically was doing a lot of damage to the point where, Earthquake was taking away a lot of our health, and we weren't going to do a whole lot of damage here again, so I guess this is the point where I learned that save stating was practically going to become a necessity to win this, because when I was struggling on the 8th gym leader, right, we have Elite Four members who are about, like, almost, like, Blue's final Pokemon, which is, will be Charizard, obviously, is about 20 level higher than, like, this one Rhyhorn right here. I understand that that's just the Rhyhorn, that's his beginning Pokemon, but even his ace, that's about still like 15 levels below his the Charizard that we face later on, so it became kind of a bummer that we're going to have to save state kind of extensively, but it was going to become the only way that we could really win at this point. You'll see right here, right, we take down that one Rhyhorn, but we've lost like half of our health, and that Nidoqueen does some pretty big damage. We missed the Mega Kick, which kind of sucks, and it gets a crit on us, and when we finally do land the Mega Kick, we got poison pointed up very unfortunately. And because of that poison point as well, when he sends out the Nidoking, we automatically die. So I kind of learned the hard way, I guess, that I need to be careful in this fight. And later on, I wanted to save state just because I wanted to be careful, just for a bunch of the later fights. And I was very much wise for doing so. I'm not trying to stroke my own ego and all that, right? But it came to the point where after a certain amount of time, it pretty much became evident that it was going to be the only way I was going to win this challenge if I wanted to win this challenge, unless I was going to like sit down here for about a month or something like that and try to get the perfect run. And honestly, while I would like to get the perfect run, that is going to waste so much time if I just do that. And obviously, as you see right here, we got bodied by Giovanni. We lost 10,000 Poké Dollars, kind of sucks. And we came back. We came with a bit of a strat. We missed the first thing, but nah, we can't let that happen. We have to land that first Suicune, and luckily we land it. We go for the pound, and he gets a scary face off, but I really cannot allow the scary face because his Pokemon are kind of fast. The Dugtrio, he's got both of the Nidos as well. The Rhyhorns aren't fast, but Dugtrio and Nidoking and Nidoqueen are most certainly are. So it's basically trying to get this Rhyhorn to get hit, go down pretty easily without any scary faces coming off. We save state right here, and we get the Mega Kick off on the Nidoqueen, but luckily we put a Pecha Berry. Remind you, we can still use held items, just not like potions and stuff, or any like X defense. So Mega Kick goes down with the Nidoking, and I got poisoned, so I was trying to avoid that. So this time around, actually, around the safe state, I didn't get poisoned at all. Like, Mega Kick landed, and then it just took down, like, the Nidoking. We take down the Dugtrio with a simple pound. It was rather nice, actually. And, we're gonna struggle a little bit with this Rhyhorn, but it's not gonna be anything bad. It's mainly just, we don't want to die to, anything stupid. We're trying to just basically get a bunch of confusion hacks. We're just trading blows that way. We also do have like a Mega Kick left, but I was trying to save it for a good moment. So I think he still has a Hyper Potion left, like within the game. So he hits himself. Somehow still not enough to kill him, mind you. He was like really close to dying right there. And nah, Rhyhorn does significant damage, but we I guess we saved right there. And we can't allow an Earthquake to come off or else we lose the fight, basically. It hit itself right here, so that's pretty nice. Pound, even with that, still die, so go for another Pound, and even if it hit itself, it would still just live that, and that was so annoying, I swear. So Rhyhorn gets off another Earthquake, and then, right here, he just goes for another, Hyper Potion, so we have a bit more difficulty right here. We just keep pounding away. The goal, obviously, is to get him to have a confusion, so, then I realized that I had Mega Kick, and we got the Earth Badge. So now we have to face against Dat Attack again, and again, this is where I got another loss. And you'll realize it's because of status effects once again. So Pidgeot wasn't the problem. Shockwave immediately brought it down. Feather Dance, yeah, that definitely affected how I went later on, but I didn't think it was a big deal. I took down the Pidgeot pretty handily. And now he sends out the Rhyhorn, right? Rhyhorn's not a big problem per se. I was just trying to take it down. Because rock types, they're not really all too powerful against me. There's not, like, they don't have any super effective moves. The problem is, I have, like, no moves that are, like, good against them. And since most rock types in this generation are, like, paired with, like, the ground type as well, like, Golem, Rhydon, Onyx, like, most of them are, or, like, if you get, like, Kabutops and Amistar, they're not seen in the game, so most rock types you see in this game are just paired with the ground type. I can't really do Shockwave either, so I have to rely on, like, Mega Kick. I take down the Rhyhorn right here, but Execute comes on out, and guess what happens again? You'll see that we get Stun Spored right after this turn. We get a nice confusion, but Execute managed to survive that, and then we get Stun Spore on us again, obviously. And with that, you've already seen our luck when it comes to this type of stuff. And because we couldn't kill that Execute, it did a pretty good amount of damage on us. And then the Alakazam comes on this. And it goes for a Calm Mind, and the next turn it's just basically gonna one-shot us with Psychic. So another loss for us, but we came back this fight, and he sent out the Pidgeot again. And what we're trying to avoid here is getting Feather Danced. So we went for Sweet Kiss because of that. And for some reason he went for a Wing Attack this time. He didn't go for the Feather Dance, so I was like, okay, I'd rather have the damage on the Igglybuff rather than, like, getting Feather Danced, so I kind of accepted it. We take down the Pidgeot rather easily, so now comes out the Rhyhorn, so without the -2 now, Mega Kick does a lot of damage this time. And it's just a matter of, okay, I'm gonna go for the Mega Kick, I'm just gonna take out the Rhyhorn immediately. He sends out Execute once again, and we aren't going for that business, so Stun Spore, but this time we carried the Cherry Berry because, once again, Stun Spore is definitely a problem. And Mega Kick absolutely one-shots the Execute. Alakazam comes on out, but we still outspeed, and we one-shot with a Mega Kick. That's nice. He sends out a Gyarados, and again, we have Shockwave, so we basically one-shot this thing. This wasn't a concern. I guess the Charizard and the Alakazam were basically the biggest threats. Execute was more annoying, if anything. Shockwave does a decent amount of damage on the Charizard, takes it down to half health. He does a scary face. I don't know why, but he just goes for Flamethrower here, and it does decent damage here, but nope, we take it out with the Shockwave, and we beat Dat Attack again, so totally not like we're gonna see him later. And now we have to face against the Elite Four with Elite Four Lorelei. Now, I'll say that I didn't save state a lot on her. Her Dugong goes for a Hail, beats Shockwave here. And Shockwave, like, manages to take out this Dugong, which is pretty nice, obviously. I didn't want to take a bunch of whole repeated damage, like we're at full restores or something like that. Cloyster comes on out, but I wasn't concerned about this one either. Cloyster has, like, really bad special defense, so it's just gonna go down with one Shockwave, which is pretty nice again. And now we have to go against Slowbro. Slowbro was meh. It's like really bulky. I knew it had Amnesia as well, so I went for one Shockwave to just basically soften it up a little bit. Because I also have Shadow Ball, as you can see I taught it that. So it just goes for the Amnesia right here. It takes some hail damage, which definitely helps out a little bit. Shadow Ball allows us to basically take it down. So the Lapras was the only other problem, was like the only actual problem on this team, because it could take a hit and it can dish out some decent damage. I wouldn't say it's like a hard hitter, but it's just really bulky, and as you can already tell, really bulky Pokemon are one of Igglybuff's biggest problems when taking them out. Like Kangaskhan, man. And luckily we get the confusion right there, right? And we're just gonna save state on that. We go for a Shockwave, no, Mega Kick, and we miss the Mega Kick. Remember, we can't really miss stuff right in this battle. It's like really important that all of this goes down just right, because otherwise, again, you get something like this that gets pretty terrifying. It's got like the Citrus Berry as well. Use the Mega Kick, and then obviously Ice Beam would have one-shot there had I just like continued, or at least not one-shot, like killed. Shockwave does decent damage right here, but I didn't opt to go for it because obviously after the confusion, it activated a Citrus Berry, where Mega Kick missed, and then it went for a Surf. So I just went back to the original save state. I went for another Mega Kick. It managed to hit itself this time around, so with that Citrus Berry also getting it up, right? All we now had to do was go for a Shockwave, and that would have been enough to kill at that range. Not going for a Mega Kick because that can miss. And down goes the Lapras. Right afterwards, Jinx goes down pretty easily, actually. It's like, I was thinking it might be bad, but it just goes down in one Mega Kick, so yeah, we take down Lorelei pretty handily as well. That's the first Elite Four member down. Next we have Bruno. And I swear this was the hardest Elite Four member, not including the champion, obviously. It may not look like it's hard, but the first Onyx wasn't really difficult. I was trying to get it to hit itself, but Shadow Ball was doing some pretty nice damage here. I was trying to avoid getting Rock Tomb though, because if I get Rock Tomb and I'm slower than the rest of his team, he's primarily having a bunch of fighting types, right? So they can do a lot of damage to Igglybuff with any of their moves. So, eventually, like, after a while, I get a crit with Shadow Ball. I wasn't going for that, but hey, whatever. I was going for the confusion, but I got a crit. Hitmonchan survives a Mega Kick and does that much damage, so I just go for Sweet Kiss, trying to get it to hit itself, which it does. I missed Mega Kick, but it hits itself again, so Mega Kick, yeah. I also forgot to mention I PB'd up Mega Kick, so Mega Kick goes down with a Hitmonlee. I save right here. Does pretty good amount of damage on Machamp, actually. But that cross chop is proving to be a huge problem, so I kind of had to save state on that. And I very much didn't want to have to deal with the cross chop, because the next Pokemon you'll see, the next Pokemon was the bane of my existence. We take down that Machamp pretty easily, actually, and it was this Onyx, I swear. I don't know why this Onyx was such a problem, but it would not hit itself in confusion. It would break through it, and it got like a crit on me, man. So I had to go back to, like, doing this, right? It had a full restore, so I had to go back to the original save of the Machamp and, like, repeat the process, get it to Mr. Cross Chop. We landed Mega Kick, so we take down the Machamp. I save right over that safe state. And at this point, it's basically just me trying to beat this Onyx with stalling it out, and that was so annoying. Like, I don't know how to put it into words just how annoying this was, because it's not that the Onyx itself was hard, but like it was more like it was redundant with how it would just take so many hits, right, and then like Bruno would just full restore this thing right back up, or would just negate the confusion. So I had to keep going for the perfect luck, and obviously I don't want to go for perfect luck, but as you can see right here, it was the only way to get the win over the Onyx. And now, I want to mention as well, I do have Water Pulse, but I needed Mega Kick to take on Lance's team, or else I was going to get screwed over by that, so I needed to just basically outluck the Onyx if I wanted to get a win here. It was the only actual way that I would have been able to clear the Elite Four. I would not be able to like take on Lance's team without Mega Kick, so I just had to brute force my way through this Onyx. And eventually, I managed to do just that after so long. Kills with this Shadow Ball, or it hits itself with the confusion. We win against Bruno, we take on Agatha now. Agatha is actually like the easiest of the Elite Four, if I'm gonna be honest. Her team wasn't really all that difficult. The first Gengar goes down with a single Shadow Ball, which was pretty nice. Then right afterwards, the Golbat comes on out. Golbat takes a Shockwave, but it doesn't do any like real damage with its Air Cutter. It does meh damage. We just take down the Golbat. I would have preferred her to use like an HP like restoring item, and then Arbok comes on out. I was a bit worried about this thing because the second this thing comes on out, obviously Red, it's gonna cut my attack, which very much sucks. I don't think I need to explain why it sucks, because my Shadow Ball is a physical move, right? Within Generation 3, all Ghost-type moves are physical, so if I'm gonna damage the rest of her Pokemon, I'm no longer gonna be able to one-shot them because this Arbok came on out and like half my attack, man. It like sucks. So we take out the Arbok rather easily, and then Gengar comes on out. Hypnosis, I could not let that land, so I was just like, Hypnosis missed, I go for Shadow Ball, that was pretty neat. I save-stated on this because just like, you know, 2 more Shadow Balls and this Gengar goes down, so I don't want to lose that progress. It goes for Sludge Bomb, which actually does a really good amount of damage to me. But Shadow Ball takes it down to the red, and he's obviously going to heal up, so I'm going to just go for another Shadow Ball. 1 more Shadow Ball is going to take down this Gengar, but it gets a Sludge Bomb in, luckily it does not poison me, and then we take it down with a Shadow Ball. You would think that this would be the hardest fight for the fact that I got into the red, but no. We didn't have the safe state, like, at all here, man. Like, not... Aside from the Gengar, we didn't, like, really reset. Haunter goes for Hypnosis, misses it, so, like, goes down pretty easily to Shadow Ball. So, yeah, Agatha was actually not too hard. It was relatively an easy fight, only had to reset once. And, we finally progressed on, beating the 3rd Elite Four member, only to take on Lance now. I can't really put this one into words. It's almost as frustrating as Blue. Almost as frustrating. Almost as frustrating as Blue and Bruno, but, the Gyarados wasn't really all that hard to fight. I'll just say it was pretty easy. It went down to a Shockwave. Aerodactyl is just gonna Ancient Power here, I guess. I originally thought that I would be able to just do some significant damage because, if it got a stat boost, I was thinking, well, maybe if it gets the stat boost, it might just, hit itself with more damage, but I realized, nope, I practically just gotta let it not get that boost. Shockwave does some pretty decent damage again. Then Aerodactyl goes down, and, now it comes out the Dragonite. Luckily, Sweet Kiss got it to hit itself, and, I went for a Mega Kick. I really need that Mega Kick. And even with that, again, another Citrus Berry, I realized that it's going to snap out of Confusion this turn, unless I want to go for a crit. It was practically necessary to take that Outrage, so... that Mega Kick, that does good damage. Outrage trades blows with me, then I take the Dragonite down. Then the Dragonair comes on out, so you learn that these Outrages basically one-shot Igglybuff, so I cannot allow those Outrages to hit me, so... It comes down to I have to confuse them, not let them hit themselves, Mega Kick them, then make them hit themselves again so that they die. And I got a crit here, so even better, I guess. I think I would have been able to kill them otherwise, but the problem was that Gyarados got -1 attack on me, so I just had to rely on the like the Dragonairs killing themselves as like the only actual way. And we take down Elite Four Rents. Now we have to take on that attack, and as you can tell, this one is majorly sped up. The Pidgeot is not a problem here at all. It goes down rather easily to a Shockwave. It gets Feather Dance up, but I was like, nah. It goes for another Feather Dance. The goal was to try to get it to hit itself, and it doesn't even do anything here before just Shockwave again, and just go for another Shockwave. Down goes the Pidgeot. Alakazam does pretty good damage with the Psychic, but Shadow Ball one-shots it. Executor doesn't get to really do anything, it just hits itself in Confusion as we kill it with Shadow Balls. I taught my Igglybuff Water Pulse just for that right on. Gyarados comes on out, but like we just go for a Sweet Kiss, it Hydro Pumps, I was like, can't do that, so we Shockwave, and at this point we're just basically trying to get Hydro Pump to miss us, so we get Gyarados to go down rather easily actually, and I swear, literally the first third of this battle was just taking on the first 5 Pokemon of his team. The last part was taking on this Charizard, and it was so annoying. I don't know how to describe this. It was literally just me sweet kissing, getting him to miss Fire Blast, making him hit himself, and then just using either Shockwave or Water Pulse to do damage to him. And then he would like full restore up like 3 times, man. He had like 3 or 4 full restores, and it made this battle get so long. It was like just really dragged out much more than it should have. I had this on like 500 speed, mind you, and this battle was still like 3 minutes. I spent about like 15, 20 minutes trading blows with this Charizard, trying to take it down. I really think had I just done this like normally, I would not have beaten this game. I think the only way I was legitimately going to beat this Charizard was with the save states, or else it would have just Fire Blasted me. I would have had to come back and do that entire battle all over again, hope for him not to crit me or anything like that, right? And get all that perfect luck they did with the first 5 Pokemon. It was not rough with them, but with this Charizard, it was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we do like enough damage to obviously just get it down, but at this point, right, it's pretty clear that we weren't going to beat this Charizard unless like we just kept save stating. So I am really sorry to those who don't like save stating per se. But at this point in the run, it honestly was the only feasible way for me to beat this Charizard. At least it was the only good way that I saw. Otherwise, I did not think I was going to beat this game, or this run with the Igglybuff. And I'm going to be honest, we do manage to obviously get the win here because he misses Fire Blast, we get Water Pulse, so we beat that attack. I'm just going to say it like this as well, I'm not interested in doing anything past this as well. The problem was, we literally struggled all that much, mind you, with just the first go of the Elite Four. Imagine if we went for a rematch, he would have a Tyranitar, that would have Sandstream, he would literally have a Heracross that'd probably be faster and be able to get like a fighting type move off with like Brick Break or something. And he would definitely destroy us the second time around. I don't even know if we could get past someone like Bruno or like Lance if we did it again, man. But like, oh man, we managed to beat this. I'm so glad that we did. But it was definitely much of a challenge. It took up several days of my time. I'm kind of glad I did it, but I would really recommend not doing these challenges unless you have really great patience. Otherwise, you're just going to get frustrated like I did. Because I used an Igglybuff, and that was definitely annoying. One of the most challenging experiences, one of the most rewarding, obviously, but yeah. I see other people doing this stuff like with Shedinja and Abra as well, not to like diss on them. I feel like that's kind of easier though than doing it with an Igglybuff. Like the only thing good about Igglybuff is it's like HP, otherwise it can't do anything at all. But yeah. We are now the champion with an Igglybuff. This feels pretty great, if I could say so. Now, I will be honest, one question I probably see myself being asked in the future will probably be along the lines of, am I going to do another challenge again? The answer to that probably is going to be a no. I'm not going to say I won't do it, but the problem here is, challenges like this are already really abundant on YouTube, if I have to say so. Like, it started with Mario, it went to, like, Pokemon not long afterwards, and you have many people doing these challenges. You have people doing Magikarp, Sunkern, Shedinja, all those different types of Pokemon, right? And it's mostly just Pokemon that are kind of seen as jokes right now within the community, is what I've noticed. But, I've seen some people bleed over to use, like, baby Pokemon, right? So, like, I've seen, Pichu been done. Maybe there's been another one I'm forgetting about, but I do think people are starting to move on past, like, obviously the meme-ish Pokemon that there are within the community, and, I'll say it like this, my channel is not only about challenges. I do think it's fun, definitely yes, but the problem is that this video is way longer than what I normally want to produce. It's literally over an hour long. Granted, the gameplay footage is only like 55 minutes long, and the time only comes from my explanations and stuff, right? But you get what I mean. The overall video is really beefy with a bunch of gameplay footage and stuff, and it really makes these type of videos hard to produce. Not only that, but just setting up the randomizer and trying to get everything done, it's just going to make things more difficult in the future. I'll just say it like this as well. I'm a school student, so it's not really in my best interest to focus on something this extensive. Maybe if I was like out of school or something like that, maybe, but like I don't know, I wouldn't want to do it with me trying to get some good grades and all that. You get what I mean. And because of that, I'm going to just say that if you want to go watch challenge videos, just watch the channels that are already doing them pretty actively, like My Dry Bread or ER Alpha or something like that. And the other thing is that these challenge videos, they're only so good after a while, right? Let me put it like this. Let's just say that I keep going with these different challenges. Let's say I do an Igglybuff. Let's say afterwards I do Happiny. Let's say I do Nincada. Then I do like Why Not? All these different types of Pokemon, right? At some point, people are going to lose interest in this trend, and it's just going to move on. Either it's going to lose interest in the Pokemon community and move on to other things like, say, Kirby or Zelda or something else like that, right? These are just going to move over. They're going to naturally lose interest, and building your entire channel off of just something that's trending is a really bad idea overall. I guess it might not have been the best idea to make this my first video, but at the same time, it was something that I thought would be very interesting while it was still a relevant topic. I might like do one of these on a stream if like if I'm just kind of bored and I want to stream. I might do one of these just periodically. Just oh well, I'm gonna go on a stream. I'll do like first half and then I'll do like another half like a week or so from then or something like that, right? That could work, but I'm not going to make that as my main content on the channel. This video, this is the ending part, by the way, so this has taken me about 2 days to edit. Almost 3, and it's like a lot of editing for me just to do this one video when I could be focusing on probably like individually smaller videos that are around like 10 to 15 minutes and probably just are as good as quality as this one, maybe if not better. Because I'm trying to still push this out in like a few days, which really made this difficult as well. Like I began this entire challenge on I think it was a Friday, yeah, Friday of last week. It's almost been an entire week now, and I played really heavily like into this challenge during the weekend, which is why I got it done so fast. But really, that's to kind of just show that there's a lot of conflict, at least when you try to focus on something like just this. I would rather, again, just try to help my channel grow with a more good way to just put out content that's not something that's going to be incredibly time-consuming. It's like, it'd be like this, right? It's like picking your poison. Either I would be making my grades bleed while I make these videos, or I don't produce videos at all, and I have to wait about like 2 weeks or so to produce another one of these videos, which makes my channel bleed while my grades succeed. Obviously, I want my grades to go higher, I want to do well in school and all that, I'm pretty sure we all do, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to like push out 2 videos a week if I can. One video is like obviously what I want to do at the minimum. I'm trying to aim for 2 though. And doing a huge challenge like this, obviously, as I just explained beforehand, is not going to really be able to be done like 2 videos a week or something like that with just the challenge like this. It's way more time consuming. It took me about a week just to make this, so it's definitely a really heavy task. By the way, I would say go watch Dad Attack, by the way. I'll link Dad Attack in the description. I just named him as my rival and all that, but really, he's a cool guy. He's kind of trying to help me out with becoming a little bigger and get some more attention and all that. He's definitely a really cool dude. You should go give him a sub if you somehow found this video, but you're not already subbed to him, you didn't come from him or something like that. And the other thing I wanted to address was save states. I know people are probably going to criticize me for this in the comments for using save states actively in the run, right? What I wanted to say regarding that is, when I learned that I was getting a little trouble around Giovanni, I knew at that point I had to use save states. Because, as you saw with Gary's fight, Gary/Dead Attack/Blue, as you saw with Bruno, as you saw with Lance, and even just Giovanni, like, if things don't go down a specific way, you could very easily lose the fight, and it's just ultimately, it puts a huge dent in your team. And I don't really want to do that for the run. It basically discourages me from just, it discourages me from trying to get this out just as soon as I can. I'm not saying I didn't try to put any effort to it. What I'm saying is, though, I would have to put about, like, an entire month of work just trying to get the perfect run on these guys if I wanted to do this without save states. And it's not that I wouldn't want to do something like that, it's just that, again, it's really time-consuming, and I'm rather sure most people aren't going to care as long as you get the what if. They'll be interested to hear the commentary, but I've heard a lot of other people do the save states, so I didn't really think it was a huge deal, but if it is a really big deal to you guys, I am sorry. It wasn't my intent to come off as being unfair or anything like that. It was just that, at one point it becomes almost impractical to think that you can beat it without a specific luck. Because, like, on that Charizard, you had to have it, like, hit itself in confusion, like, 12 times, and then, like, it full restored up, like, 3 times, and then, like, had to have it miss every Fire Blast, or else we were gonna lose. It's just stuff like that, and I couldn't heal up, obviously. I probably could have been a bit more wise in the run, as in, I could have carried specific items or done EV training. I didn't do that. I wanted to just come to this having some fun. I did have some strategical thought, don't get me wrong. I had an idea that I was probably going to have to carry Shadow Ball for Agatha, and that I was going to have problems with the ghost types in the Lavender Town later. But, I didn't extensively plan it out to where, oh, I'm going to do this at this gym, and then, like, finally replace that move, and then replace that move later on at this gym, or something like that. No, I did not do that. I can't really give myself that much credit as to what I did for this run. Obviously, I did put a good amount of effort into the run, but it was mostly just, it was like more time-consuming, so at this point I'm just kind of repeating myself, but you get it. I was just using save states because they make the challenge much easier to come on out, and it just shows that it is possible, but it requires a ridiculous amount of luck. Which is why I would not recommend doing these challenge videos if you do not have good patience. It's just as simple as that. So, yeah, I'll just say it like this as well. Please join my Discord if you liked the video, and, if you feel like you only came here for this challenge video, I'm fine. If you don't want to subscribe or anything like that, you just want to go away, or not leave a comment or anything like that, I understand. Because there's some certain people I go watch sometimes that only come there for a specific video and just not come back to it again. But on the off chance you do just like decide to subscribe, my Twitter's in the description. Same thing with my Discord. Come join it. This is Plozible. Remember to subscribe to Dead Attack, and I am out. Ciao.